Hi, I'm Lindsay with Denton ISD Occupational Therapy. One area that occupational therapists address is grasp on a pencil or writing tool. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks today on how you can help facilitate a good grasp. Some grasps are more functional than others, and while grasp doesn't really affect handwriting legibility, certain grasps can fatigue the hand quickly, which can then lead to poor handwriting. So when your kids are younger and first learning how to scribble with a crayon or write, they're going to use a palmar grasp, which looks like this. As they grow and develop more strength and coordination in their hands, this grasp should slowly evolve over time. So they might move to a four-finger grasp, which is going to look like this, or maybe more like this. Or they may also use what's called a five-finger grasp, where all five of the fingers are on the pencil, and it's going to look something like this. By the time they're around 5 or 6, they should be able to use a tripod grasp, which looks like this. It's going to be these three fingers. And this may be more static at first, where they use more wrist movement, but as they mature, you should start seeing more dynamic movements in their fingers. Once they get to be school age, they should no longer be using a palmar grasp or a five-finger grasp because they just aren't very functional. So there are some tips and tricks that you can implement in your classroom to facilitate a good writing grasp, and I'm going to go over a few of those. The first strategy is just to use a shorter writing tool. So you can use a shorter pencil for writing like this, or for coloring you can use just a broken crayon. And essentially what this is doing is just giving less room for the child to cram extra fingers on the pencil or the crayon and forcing them to use more of a functional and age-appropriate grasp. If the shorter pencil does not work, you can also teach them what we call the pinch and flip strategy. So you're just going to teach them to pinch the pencil and pick it up, just like this, and then they're just going to use their other finger to flip the pencil and put it back into their web space. Another strategy is to have them hold something with their pinky and ring finger while they write. And a pom-pom works great for this. It doesn't have to be a pom-pom. It can be, just whatever you can find around your classroom, just as long as it's comfortable. So you're just going to have them hold it in their palm with their pinky and their ring finger. And by separating these two fingers, they can then use them to stabilize their hand on the table and use their remaining three fingers to write with an appropriate grasp. A weighted pencil may help to facilitate a more functional grasp as well, as helping with writing pressure if they are writing too light. So you can either place some rubber bands near the top or the bottom of the pencil, and then you're just going to put 3 or 4 nuts on here depending on how heavy you want the pencil to be. And so you can either place it towards the top, which is going to kind of push the pencil back into their web space, or you can have them closer to the bottom. And it also just kind of depends on their hand size as to where you're going to need to place it. And lastly, there are several kinds of pencil grips that may be beneficial for the child to use, and these will help to facilitate a more functional grasp. So this is one of them. It just simply slides on the pencil, and this is going to help facilitate a tripod grasp. So this is what this one will look like. You can also use this one, which has these 3 places for your fingers, and you simply place them in there. And you can use that to facilitate a tripod grasp as well. And more than likely they won't understand how to use these, so you're going to have to teach them how to use it, and then you may have to remind them for a while until they get it down. And as always, you can ask your occupational therapist for more tips.